What's going on, everyone? Back inside of the gym here with this video, working on a little more specificity in relation to the Olympic lifts as the December competition approaches. So I'm starting to transition into a little more specificity, as you can see, right, with some hand cleans, clean variations and whatnot. For today's video, what I wanted to talk about, what I wanted to share, is the topic of confidence and ego. And I want to talk about their similarities, but more importantly, I want to talk about their differences, because I see that a lot of times many people confuse confidence with ego, or vice versa. And what's worse is many people think that you need to have an ego to have confidence. And why I think this topic deserves a proper discussion is because many of us are in need of confidence. And some pretty clear evidence to support my claim can be found in social media. I think you would agree that it's very difficult to open up YouTube or any other social media app and not come across something that has to do with the topic of motivation or confidence. There's no shortage of this type of content, and the reason why it appears on many of our feeds is because that's how the algorithm works. The more searches a particular specific topic is searched, the more it's going to appear, the more the algorithm is going to do its job and post that on your feed, even if you're not searching for something like that. The fact that it's being flooded with searches increases that possibility of one encountering it, and that's just as clear as it can be of proof that many people are searching this. And if many people are searching it, it's because they're desiring this type of content. Someone out there is trying to find out how to improve one's confidence, and which is not a bad thing. But the issue is that when something is very popular, many people are talking about it. And when there are many people talking about it, you're going to get a plethora of information, which some can be good, some can be bad, just like with any topic. And I think this whole discussion of confidence and how to improve one's confidence has many flaws with the way that people explain it. And now I'll give you my thoughts on it. And now we'll go into the comparisons of both. On the surface, someone who's egotistic and someone who's confident share this similar demeanor that reflects total control over a task or a situation. It's like they have this, it's like they're reflecting an attitude that has no room whatsoever for doubt. So sometimes people can confuse that. Sometimes people look at someone who's highly egotistic and confuse it with confidence, because it appears like they have control over the situation, right? But that's not entirely what confidence is. Confidence isn't just the attitude towards a situation. It's something deep within. Now, if you begin to scratch the surface on this, you're going to start to see the differences. Ego requires the attention of the entire room to exist. Confidence exists with or without any audience. I'll even take that a step further and say egos wouldn't even exist if there wasn't people, if there wasn't an audience. Because the only reason why a person has ego is because they understand that there is attention around them. And ego feeds off of people's attention. You can't have an ego if you have no one to show it to. Now, confidence, as I mentioned earlier, is within. Confidence can give a damn if there's one person in the room or 100, or anyone in the room for that matter, if it's just yourself. Ego begs for recognition. This is why many egotistic people tend to wear fancy clothes. They wear the biggest watches, the most jewelry. They all have to talk about the amount of women that they slept with over the weekend. They have to bring up things, and they have to offer this appearance that appears like they got all the shit together. When in reality, chances are they're probably some of the most fragile people ever. It's a contradiction. And another major difference between the both is this belief that in order for a person to be confident, you have to be this kind of asshole. You have to be this disrespectful person that will always have it their way. That it's either my way or the highway type of attitude. That if things don't get played to the beat of my drum, then they're wrong or they're worth less. True confidence stems from humility. Someone who's humble can be confident. And many people got that the other way around. They think that if someone who's humble is downplaying themselves. Someone who's humble has less self-esteem because they're always putting others before them. You know, this type of idea. When in reality, that couldn't be further from the truth. Confidence requires a person to fully understand themselves, to understand their abilities and their weaknesses. An egotistic person believes they have no weaknesses. They believe that they can't be knocked down by anything. A confident individual understands there are limits to his or her capacity. But despite those limits, they're willing to push through, understanding the possibility of failure. With an egotistic attitude, it's almost as if failure doesn't exist. And while many people can benefit from that attitude and thinking that there's no room for failure, it will bite you in the ass because in reality, failure does exist. And in order to have success, chances are you will experience losses. And an ego does not know how to take a loss. Someone who's confident can take an L and move forward because they understand, they have the humility to accept a loss to begin with, but they also have that self-confidence in knowing that if they just work at it, they're going to get better. Egos take losses much harder than confidence does. And as a matter of fact, a loss can actually boost one's confidence over the long run. And we can't say the same thing about an ego. An ego doesn't get stronger with a loss. Now, how does this all tie up to training, to fitness? You see this very often, especially at commercial gyms. There's no shortage of these ego lifters. Everything that we just talked about can be applied directly to them or to these situations. Someone with an ego needs to have the entire room looking at their bench press, looking at their squat. They're going to stack up plates upon plates just to get that attention from people. And then to make matters worse, they're not even going to be able to finish the lift because that's how damaging egos are. Egos do not take into consideration a person's true capacity. It's all gas. While someone who's truly confident can hit a PR on their own with nobody around and be content, be satisfied. They don't need the entire room present to witness their PR because to them, what matters is simply improving. If there's 100 people in the gym, cool. If there's only one, not a problem. To them, it's the same. While an ego, like I mentioned earlier, requires and begs the attention of the room. And I'll finally wrap up this video with a heads up. Next time you come across content that's centered around improving one's self-confidence, try to dig a little deeper and see what their intentions truly are. Because anyone can just speak. Anyone can give advice. But it takes a little bit of digging. It takes some discernment to really understand if this person's being legit or not. If the information that they're sharing is for the benefit of people. And use these examples to identify whether or not someone's actually being genuine or not.